Hello, and welcome to another episode on Alchemy with Alea, the YouTube channel. I am so excited to be back. I took a week off because we experienced a very sad and heartbreaking loss. We said goodbye to our 14-year-old Shiba Inu. She had been with me since she was 3 months old, and it just happened to be her time to go. And I was grieving and processing and working through some very deep emotions and shadow. So I was unable to create another video for the week. But I am back this week, and I hope to spread some awareness and bring some light to a situation and understanding of the divine and what the divine actually means, and how you and beautiful you is contrived, and how you work into all of that. So I want to first explain that when you come into the spiritual community and you come into what's being taught online nowadays through coaching and spiritual coaching and walking the spiritual path and all of those different things, you will hear a lot of different interchangeable terms and buzzwords and a whole bunch of other things. And one of the things that I didn't realize was one of the words that I feel has maybe a kind of controversy around it. And let me explain that a little bit further by sharing the word and the phrase. You have probably heard it, and it's everywhere. The phrase is your higher self or your highest self. And as you can see, there can be, some controversy around this because it's a hierarchy of yourselves, right? And there's a lot of different ways that we can view this. There's a lot of different ways that we can explore this. There's a lot of ways to experience this. And I'm just going to share from my own personal experience. This may be nothing, like you've ever experienced. It might not resonate, or it might resonate completely, or make you even have some aha moments. But this is just my experience from having a spiritual awakening, my own spiritual awakening, and working on the online space for about 5 years now, but 2 years in the spiritual community and spiritual empowerment and all of those things. So the higher self, okay, it makes it seem like there's like me example. I'm right here, I'm in the physical, and then I have a higher self that's like over here doing a bunch of stuff and like being a puppeteer kind of, or just kind of sitting on the sidelines and like, hey, like I'm gonna nudge you this way and you need to go this way, and you're not really living up to what I would do, or and it kind of sounds like there's a separation, right? Well, the thing is that everything is connected. Everything is connected. Okay. And I can't stress that enough. Everything has a ripple effect. Everything is intertwined with one another. And we see this in nature all the time. If we, go to the cellular level of fungi, and did you see that? There was like a little streak of light there. Oh, I wonder if that was a spirit. Anyway, so when we look at the molecular level and the way that fungi works and how it works with trees and in the forest, and this may be a new concept for you too as well, but the mycelium that grows underneath the dirt and everything acts like a conductor between tree roots, which is kind of like the internet. It sends information back and forth. It's it's like a router, basically. It sends information back and forth between the tree roots, sending different nutrients, sending different information, different, like bugs are attacking this one and this one needs more nutrients over here, and it sends all of this information back and forth, right? And so you can see how that is very similar and eerily similar to the way that we communicate as a whole as humans too. So everything is connected. Everything is connected in this world. And so with the higher self, your higher self or your highest self is not separate from you. Your highest self is not out in the ether, floating around, watching you, thinking, what are you going to do? Why aren't you doing this? Like, we need to go over here. Like, your highest self is not going to be looking down on you in judgment. Your highest self is actually through your heart space, where you feel your passion, where you feel your compassion, where you feel your purpose, where you feel love and joy. That is your highest self, where you have connected to those pieces of yourself and to your soul that allow you to live out your purpose. Everything is connected. As within, so without. And so there is no separation between you and your highest self, just as you are not separate from your lower self, which is your subconscious. So there are three. Just hang around long enough, you'll see that I'm a complete nerd. Anyway, there are three layers of consciousness. There is the subconscious, which is your lower self, right? Which holds in your reptilian brain, which holds your subconscious, your traumas, and your patterns and behaviors, the things that really, keep us stuck and stagnant. But also your subconscious is where your most hidden and valuable talents and power lies. So you have to go through the subconscious to manifest and also to really regain your power, to take back your power. Because if we don't deal with those negative thoughts, and we don't deal with the traumas, and we don't deal with the with the patterns and behaviors and beliefs that are holding us back, then we cannot fully step into our power, right? So that's your subconscious. And then the middle one is this one, the physical, right? The consciousness, the regular consciousness, right? And this is where we move stuff from the subconscious to our conscious awareness, and really being able to work through them. That's this consciousness that I'm using to communicate to you on this YouTube video, the consciousness that I will use to make decisions, go about my day, do my work, do all the different things, right? That's this consciousness right here, this layer, this level. And then we have the super consciousness, okay? The super consciousness is the divine voice of God. God is subjective, right? God could be whatever you believe in as a higher power, right? Your higher self could even be part of that, because sometimes and I've seen it, and that's kind of what I believe, is that the higher self or the highest self is God, your connection to God. So this is where you have that divine inspiration. That's where you have the divine intuition. This is the super consciousness, is where you are connected to the world outside of physical limitations. This super consciousness allows you to be able to connect to a friend across the world when you're like, I wonder if so-and-so is going to call me, or I wonder how they're doing. And then, oh my gosh, they give you a call, right? It's that same frequency. It's that same place that connects you to the world of the unseen, the spiritual world, the world that usually has a veil, right? So this is where your super consciousness exists. This is the part of us that we are able to access through healing modalities such as meditation, channeled writing, somatics, breath work. It's basically like an altered state of consciousness that allows us to tap into this sort of divine creativity and allows us to work through the things that we need to work through and process, and really kind of helps us move along on our path to our purpose. And I think it's such a fun topic to talk about with the higher self and with the super consciousness. That's really what the higher self or the highest self is this super consciousness and our connection to something greater. And like I was saying, this is just my experience, but from my experience, we are all connected, right? Every single one of us is connected, whether that's 6 degrees of separation, which is an actual real thing that, actually happens, whether you want to think of it that way, or if you want to think of it the way we're all of the human race. So, we've all come from the same place, but just live in different areas now. We're all connected in some way or some form. And it's the same as within, so without. So we're all connected to some great source beyond. I mean, of course, if that's something that you believe in, but if you're watching this, you probably do. So we're all connected to something greater, the source. And, and I don't mean to, be biblical or anything like that, because I don't necessarily believe in the Bible, but, I understand other people's point of views and what they believe in. I think it's important to read and discover and not so much analyze, but theorize and, think about the other cultures in this world and the other religions in this world. I think we'd all be better people if we all just, learned from one another and rejoiced with one another and celebrated one another. But, in the Bible, and I'm not saying that's the only thing out there, in the Bible, it says that we're created, in the image of God, right? Well, that to me sounds like a higher self. If we're created in the image of Source, does that or does that not sound like a projection? That we are being projected out. Each and every one of us is being projected out so that Source can see itself and every version of itself and every nuance of itself. So if God can answer all prayers, well, not all prayers, but if God can listen to all the prayers and, be here and be there and be over here and speak to, people over here and people over here, then doesn't it make sense that we're, self-actualized, right? And we are gods experiencing the human flesh. When I had that realization that we are all gods because we can self-actualize and we can all manifest and it's our birthright and that we were made in God's image, We are all gods. And we all have this power. We all have this power, no matter where you live, no matter where, where you come from, no matter anything. You have the ability to follow your heart, to follow your passion, to follow the things that really fuel your soul, and make your heart sing, and put a fire, put a fire in your soul and in your heart. And everybody has access to that. Everybody has access to that. Everybody has access to the universal laws. So the law of attraction, the law of manifestation, the law, all of these different laws is available to every single one of us on this planet. And when you think of it that way, if we all have access to that, and we're all made in the image, whether, you look at it, from a physical, and a scientific point of view, we are all part of the same. And so that goes to show that, of course, I guess it doesn't go to show, but, it in my head and my theory is that my highest self is source. And my highest self is my connection to source, and the part of me that allows me to step into my best version of myself by leading with my passion, with my purpose, with my heart light, by being compassionate, by, treating people the way I would want to be treated, to go about my days with joy and happiness and love for myself, love for my family, love for my friends, love for my neighbors. And when you lead your life with your purpose and your highest joy, you are embodying your highest self. You are embodying your godlike self. You are embodying your greatest potential, your greatest human potential, and your mission and vision, why your soul chose to come here. Your soul is part of source. It's part of the greater expanse. It's part of the greater out there. It's the part of the greater power. But you're a part of it. You are a projection of it. You are experiencing the physical, but you are still part of the larger whole, just as everything else on this planet. And that's why it's so important for everybody. Well, I can't generalize, but it's really important that many of us choose to awaken to this understanding, and that we have a lot more power than we're led to believe. And when we focus on our self-healing and focus on, rewiring these negative beliefs and these negative thoughts and these behaviors, and working and healing through our, traumatic experiences, we can then step into our greatest power, which will allow us to live our purpose. A creative life and living with passion and following your heart is meant for the bravest souls. It really is. It is not easy to stand out. It's not easy to go against what everybody says is right or wrong. Living in your heart space and living through your truth is one of the hardest things that somebody can do, but it's one of the most bravest things that somebody can do. And it is one of the most rewarding experiences, being able to live that authentically. And that is the higher self. That is the highest self. So I hope this little rant gave you some aha moments, or maybe you were just like, no, that doesn't make any sense to me, and that's totally fine. But I hope that it did resonate within some part of your soul, and it makes you question, and it makes you curious about your own self and your own journey and your own experience, through spirituality and through your own path. And if you are following, and staying true to your path of purpose and passion as well. So if this has been enlightening for you, and if this gave you some motivation or inspiration or some aha moments, please consider giving this channel a like and subscribing to my channel. I have so many more things coming in future weeks, and I cannot wait to share them with you. The other thing that I want to share with you too is I created my first tarot deck, and I am so excited about this. Like, this has been a dream of mine for such a long time, and it finally came true. So each one of these, they're on pre-order right now. Each one of these card decks comes in a velvet bag with a rhodonite crystal, and it comes with 4 blank cards that you can write your own affirmations on. And each one of these cards has a beautiful back. The colors are just so absolutely gorgeous. And on each one, there is an affirmation. So you can pick a card every morning and stay on track to your purpose and your passion and living your best life and accessing your highest self through these affirmations. They are high vibe colors. You can't really tell on the camera, but they are super, super colorful. And each one of them has a hidden graphic behind them, and to help activate those particular and specific affirmations. So I just love this. My energy is palpable and juicy. Ooh, that is such a good one. And I am aware, awake, and alive. I am always supported, and I ascend with my aligned choices. And that is the highest self. That is the highest self. Your highest self is not outside you. Your highest self is inside you, where your joy and your heart and your love exist. So if you would like one of these card decks, they're on pre-order right now. The link is in the comments. If you have any questions for me, or you want to reach out, or if you have any questions or you want to talk about this subject with me, drop it down below. I would love to connect. I will see you next week. Bye for now.